This is the part 2 of how to write successful R&D and infra project proposals by college teachers. And the second part, I just want to continue to talk about the methodology. So how to write the methodology part of the proposal. And methodology, as you all understand, it is to judge the validity of results and conclusions. So we have a hypothesis, we want to get the results and conclusion in a manner at which we have proposed, and the methodology will decide how the results will be achieved in the project proposal. So this has to be very, very important. This has got multiple portions, and we talk about the specific techniques, and we also talk about the instrumentation requirement, either you possess in your lab or in your farm, or sometimes you may have to hire those facilities, or you will be collaborating. You will have a separate another PI from another institute, or a co-PI from another department where the facility has. So this kind of collaboration with another department or another institution will be helpful when we are talking about a specific technique and the instrumentation requirement. And then access to sample, fixing the sampling site, how the sampling will be done, and then the data analysis, how it will be evaluated, or how the data will be assessed, and these are the aspects. And justify your choices of methods. There may be different methods available for a particular evaluating a particular parameter, and you are choosing one particular parameter or an assessment technique, and why you are doing that. So justification has to be given. Show that you are understanding the principles of this technique. So that needs to be clearly visible in your what do you call when you talk about PA's credential. You may have to give a list of projects, and if you have a couple of papers already published where the methodology has been adapted, then it will be easy for the funding agency or the evaluator to understand, yes, the PA has the credential to carry out this work. And the methodology also need to give a kind of diagram of experimental design. So what are the experiments you are going to carry out for a particular objective, and what are the kind of treatments you are going to have for the different variables, and how much time it will take for experiment 1 or experiment 2, whether you will be able to complete the experiment during the project duration. So these are the best things we need to explain in the methodology, and if possible, the experiment design can be depicted through a diagrammatic representation. Timeline is very, very important. Sometimes the project may be for 1 year or 2 years or 3 years. Normally, some agencies, they have a project duration for 1 year, and most of the project, and if it is 50 lakhs plus, it will be like a 3-year project. So we have to design for first year what is the budget requirement. Normally for the equipments and other things, the budget will be used in the first year, and the second year the full-fledged experiments will be taking place, and the third year the budget estimate will be little less. So the budget, when you talk about budget, there are important aspects we need to know, because the funding agency, once they completed the technical part, the what you call the objectives and the methodology and the expected results, once they are okay with the technical part, when they come to the financial part, and if they feel it is overestimated, then there is every possibility a project will be getting not clear. So you have to be very careful and do not propose anything beyond the scope of the project proposal. And the budget is for executing the objectives of the project proposal which you have proposed, not for your requirement, not for your department or your institution's requirement. You have to be very, very careful. And whenever you are proposing certain common items like laptop or printer or cameras, you have to be very, very careful. And these are the common facilities, and no funding agency will be able to give you these kind of budget. So sometimes, even if you are a very good proposal, just because you propose some item out of interest, and then you may stand to lose your project. So you have to be very careful in proposing the budget, And budget, otherwise if you're asking for a technical part, there is no dearth of funding. If the technical part is convinced, I tell you, sky is the limit to get a grant. There is no fixed limit for a particular proposal. When you get 50 proposals, some projects will get 20 lakhs and some projects will even get 2 crores or even 5 crores. So the budget is not a problem. If you are technically good, you can propose any budget for your proposal. And output and outcome, these are the very important aspects. Output in terms of qualitatively or quantitatively, what is the short-term benefits we are going to get out of the project. But by the time when you are completing a project, what is an output? For example, you will be doing a kind of technology upgradation of a particular agriculture crop or aquaculture crop. In that sense, your last objective will be disseminating the technology. How I am going to disseminate the technology of agricultural enhancement of income through enhanced production. So then this has to be disseminated to the farming community through training program. Then you have to tell clearly, we will be training 500 farmers or 500 entrepreneurs in 10 batches, or you must tell 100 people will be benefited through this project by every batch 20 farmers, and 5 batches will be conducted. So the quantifiable data should be available. We must precisely tell how many numbers will be trained. So this is about the quantity and the short-term benefit. This is output. When you talk about outcome, so that is the long-term benefits. The scheme will not be over. The benefit of the scheme will not be over once you are completing the project within the 3rd year. The benefits should be available for the community for a longer period to come. So that needs to be clearly spelled out, mentioned in the project proposal. So this particular technology will be disseminated through the university, particular Department of Extension or the Department of Social Administration for next 10 years, so that so many people will be get benefited. So that is what is required for a outcome. So this is the difference between output and outcome. And once you finish the project, starting from title to the budget, output, outcome, then that is not the end of it. You should not tend to submit the proposal immediately. You must read it and reread it and give it to different people, another department, even a non-technical person, to go through the context of interest, and then the revising and editing should be taking place. And preferably, if you take a printout of the proposal and correct it, it will be better. Like common pitfalls to avoid, for example, the index is a must. It means like you have to put page numbers in all the proposal copies, and the index have to be clearly written in the first page. Not connecting the proposed research to the literature review. That should be total linkage between the review of literature and your objective. Not enough details about the method. Methodology is very important. Details have to be spelled out very clearly, and the sweeping general statements need to be avoided. And how you have to improve the scope of getting funding for the proposal. The evaluation criteria, you must be very thorough. For example, if you are submitting it to DBT, you must know the evaluation criteria. What are the parameters on which they will be evaluating your proposal? Start with an outline. Read approved proposal. The DBT might have submitted some proposals in the 2021 or the last 10 years. It will be available in the website, and you go through those titles and go through the project proposals. Then you will get an idea how the DBT, the particular task force, is assessing. You will get an idea. Use diagrams to illustrate the models. So these are the evaluation proposals. And there are a lot of challenges will be available, not able to identify. Sometimes you may not be able to identify the specific problems. You will not be able to develop specific methodology for the research. You want to evolve for the research gaps. And then the selection of target areas, sometimes you may be fumbling. And the patent and commercialization, how this can happen. And all these things, do not hesitate to discuss with the senior faculty or one who is running research project. Always that is very important. A person who has got a couple of projects will have a kind of strength in him to get a project. In fact, I have got more than 26 crores in my entire career, and most of the projects are R&D and infra projects. So the first proposal is the difficult thing. Once you start getting project, then it will be easy for you to get. The major rejection of projects are happening mainly because of the inappropriate presentations. So you need to take a lot of time in presenting everything. The sentence which you may feel like this is not important, sometimes the evaluator may read that particular sentence, and that may be the reason for not considering your project proposal. So these are the important aspects, and interdepartmental, interinstitutional projects are very, very important. And at the end of the day, the PI, the credentials are very, very important. Though you may have a co-PIs and all, the PI credential, once the technical part is very good, then whether the PI is capable of doing the work, so that is what will be evaluated. It is not a theoretical part. This will be evaluated by the research papers published, your the way you're organizing various events earlier, your trips abroad, your association with various other laboratories in the country and abroad. So these things will be evaluated properly. And sometimes all may not have that kind of credential. So that is why I suggest it is always better to try as a co-PI in a major project. You associate with some good PIs and try to learn, try to enter into the scenario. Once you have got a project as co-PI, then that will be an added advantage for you. So that is the reason why I tell you, you associate with a person who has already got credentials or got facilities, and then it will be easy for you to get projects. That is what I used to tell in zoology department also. There are a lot of scope, there are plenty of money available with various agencies. Only thing is we have to knock at the door and knock properly with the right proposal. Thank you so much.